On my 18th birthday, I spent 3 hours over a kitchen sink. One of my best friends spent a large portion of their 18th in hospital and nearly died for 3 reasons. The first was alcohol poisoning, the second was head trauma, he'd hit his head off a wall, and the third one was heart attack. Now, he didn't actually have a heart attack, but he did get kind of close. He had something like 10 cans of Red Bull. I don't know the exact number, I don't know exactly what he had, but he was pretty messed up, it has to be said. Now, that's just alcohol. But here in the UK, you ask people what they did for their 18th, you'll hear stuff like this constantly. So, in terms of alcohol, you tell me if it's a good idea, because I certainly don't think so. When it comes to smoking, the age is 18, but I think it's a bit different there. You see, regardless of what age you are, it seems to be the most addictive thing on the planet. Even when there are messages on the cigarette boxes inscribed something like "smoking kills" or "smoking gives you lung cancer" or something like that, despite all of those things, people still go out and buy them because it's just that addictive. So, no age limit is really going to help there. The driving age here in the UK is 17. The military, I think, is 16 and a half. And I'll have to check that some other time. According to Wikipedia, it's 16 and a half, so take what you get from that. Marriage and sex is 16. Both of them. Now, I've already told you about the drinking age. I really don't think it's a good idea to have a certain date when you can suddenly buy alcohol, because then everyone just goes completely nuts. Has tons and tons on that one day where you're suddenly allowed to have it. Before my 18th, I was quite excited about the possibility that I might get alcohol quite soon. But as soon as I turned 18, as soon as I could actually legally buy it, the novelty, well, it's really quite hard to explain, but the novelty wore off and it just became less interesting, And I think the reason for this is because, before my 18th, the alcohol had a kind of unattainability factor. But, after I turned 18, I could suddenly have it. I could buy it anytime I wanted at stores, and yeah. I don't know, this is just a guess. I don't know the exact reasons, I don't know why I just suddenly became less interested in it after I turned 18. It's certainly not because I suddenly matured when I turned 18. That's just, anyone that thinks that, it's just, what's the logic in that? Are you any more mature on your 18th than you are one day before that? It's just a number. When people talk about the age of consent, people like to throw around this word maturity, but if I think about maturity much, I come to the conclusion that it doesn't have anything to do with age. It's just making the right decisions, as it were. So it's really not a question of how old they are. It's just, can we trust them at that age to do something like that? So there's an element of ageism in there, but it's a probably quite necessary element sometimes. You'd have to cut people off. Like, there's no way you're going to have 9-year-olds driving cars because they won't see over the steering wheel or something like that. I don't know. So do I think that the age of consent, is beneficial to society or detrimental? I think as a law it's detrimental, but if it's a guideline, if it's something to follow generally, then that might be more beneficial. Now, as for why the ages are inconsistent, I don't think they're too inconsistent here in the UK, but I definitely agree that it's the case in America, and I think that the reason for that is simply because they don't tend to draw these relations that we're seeing, They don't think about these relations between marriage and sex, for example. They just want to draw this line of maturity at a certain point to see if they can make the statistics better. That's just a theory, just off the top of my head, but, well, read into that what you like. By all means, feel free to disagree, of course, but I think that's all I have to say. I hope this is a reasonable answer for you, Andrew. Thank you for the question. Goodbye.